Wendy and Eddie were back in court today, but we've got to talk about what's going to happen next, what this means, the report that we got from boots on the ground, friend to the show, Taria Faison from the What Else Is Going On podcast. Be sure to follow on Instagram for updates and a 15-minute recap that she also had with one of the attorneys down to the courthouse. So follow her on Instagram. Also be sure to follow her on X, the Twitter. I'm not on the Twitter, okay? We'll probably talk about whatever she gets from that as well. And also follow on YouTube as well, because I'm sure she's going to break it all down for us. And I will be tuned in. But for right now, let's get into the tea of it all from what happened at the courtroom today. All right. Skye Squad, we are back in the building. And of course, we're going to have some more in our continuing coverage of whatever is happening with K. Michelle on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So listen, I am personally invested in that. Side note, guys, before we dive in, I just did the C. Diggy Chris. For those of you guys who don't know, I did his podcast today. We went for about almost an hour and a half, and it was good. And we talked about this as well there. But I'm going to go into a little bit more depth right here. So you could check that out on his channel. Be sure to subscribe to his channel as well. Let's dive in. Wendy and Eddie are now going to be tried together. Now, what we had last previously heard was that they would be tried, or the goal was for them to be tried separately. Now, I am curious as to whether there was a change in the plans or if the plans were changed for them. That is the question that I want to know. So let's get into it. They will be tried together. The court date is January 25th through the 29th of 2027. The status hearing is January 13th of 2027. So, Taria says it here. They've now made the decision to be tried together. This case is getting longer and longer, it seems, is what Taria says. So this is interesting. I wonder what led to the change. You can actually see them here as they enter the courtroom. Wendy is, as always, looking phenomenal. Not a hair out of place. They at least are looking the part as they go into trial. Like, they're looking good. So what does this mean for Wendy on the Real Housewives of Potomac? That really is where we are finding most of our interest here on this particular channel. Obviously, I want the best for them, their family, all of that. But what does it mean for the show? Let's get into it. I tend to look at this in terms of the production cycle. So when I think about the production cycle, what we have seen, in at least for the past few seasons, is Real Housewives of Potomac premiering in the fall, which means, of course, they're filming likely through like about April, May, June, and maybe the mid of July, usually with an October premiere date. So I would expect us to be on that same cycle. So that typically means we are airing October, November, December, January, and maybe into February with the reunion. Now, we know that the reunion is typically taped when they're on this production cycle in January. But we also wondered how it would work for Karen as well, because when Karen was about to be tried, it was around the time of the filming of the reunion, if you guys recall. There was a lot of activity then. So we're entering a similar situation where there's going to be a lot of activity happening in January. So my question is, how will this impact the reunion? Because that will be around the end of the season if we are following the same production cycle and airing cycle. Will this happen? Will the reunion tape before or will the reunion tape after? And actually, what would be more advantageous for the show and for the network. And I hate to break it down to those questions, but these are the questions if I am a producer, I'm asking. I want us to figure this out, and we've got to figure it out sooner than later, because what we've got to know is for our jobs is what's going to be the story. Is the story going to be at the reunion they're preparing for this trial, or is the story going to be the trial is done and either Wendy and Eddie are vindicated or not? And then if they are vindicated, I'm sure they would be at the reunion, and if not, would they be able to actually come to the reunion? So then what do you do to make the most of the reunion, which is the Super Bowl of the season? Okay. So these are questions I'm asking. And then what does that mean for the rest of the season with regards to what's happening right now as the ladies are taping? I think I asked this question earlier. Can they travel abroad with this case? What will that mean for the cast trip? Does it mean that it will have to be everything will have to be domestic, right? While the OC ladies are traveling to Tokyo, will Potomac be relegated to going down to Destin? I mean, it's giving a Married to Medicine trip. It's giving Married to Medicine trips this season. Yeah, yeah. So there is that coverage. Of course, there will be more. Tune in to Taria's channel. I will tag her in the description so that you guys can get more information as she releases it. And then we may talk about it later as well. Okay. So as a follow-up, I want to talk about this. And I'm so glad that No Chaser TV posted this, because it gives validation to my thoughts. Candace and Michael, they discuss all the things on their podcast, Undomesticated. So be sure to tune in. I love hearing their intellectual takes on just pop culture, TV shows in general. I feel like this is the perfect platform for Candace, and she's found the perfect partner to collaborate with in this regard. And something that she says here is so pertinent that I feel like it validates what I have been thinking all along. Candace feels that something may have been edited out of K. Michelle's plot claims in order to make Kay look crazy. So I want you guys to also go back and watch Chris and I break this down, because he provides some good points. I have some counter opinions. We don't necessarily have the same opinion, and we look at it from two different lenses. And I think you guys will enjoy that conversation. But as we dive into what is really happening with K. Michelle here, Candace gives us a different perspective. My perspective was that there is something we're missing. K. Michelle has been told this information, in my opinion, and it's from a credible source for her, but we don't know who it is. Candace's take is that something has been edited out that we have not seen, that is also potentially giving credence to what K. Michelle claims. And in the edit of the show, because you can't show everything, the outcome of that is that she is looking crazy, because a lot of y'all are looking at her crazy. A lot of y'all actually want her gone. And I'm like, it's been 7 episodes. Y'all don't give slack to nobody no more. Like, nobody, I mean, anybody can get chopped. I mean, it's chop suey for a lot of y'all. Y'all like chop, 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 chop. Like, we chopping up some vegetables up in this thing. A lot of y'all, like, I mean, forget the knife. Just throw the whole thing away. We ain't chopping nothing. Just throw her in the trash can. That's what I see a lot of y'all saying. Get rid of this person. Get rid of that person. I swear, if it was only your favorites on the show, what would we be watching except for Get Ready With Me? You can, if, I mean, so anyway, what Candace is saying here is that, as we know, production can edit how they see fit, right? When you sign the reality TV contracts, it is really to make a show. And whatever is necessary to make the show is going to make the show, no matter how it makes you look. And when Candace talks about the house, she means the production of it all, the network, whoever is managing the edit. And she talks about the house is going to protect itself at all costs. Okay? Because she even goes back to the Phaedra of it all. Another interesting example, because Phaedra, back when the Candy and Portia and all of that happened with the dungeon, Phaedra says that she was told this information, but she never went into who. So it was giving, even back then, as an attorney, why would she say this? Why would she tell Portia this? And then why, of course, would Portia repeat it? Well, Portia has heard it from a credible source, so Portia repeats it. Phaedra may have heard it from a source who also, and she's now repeating it, maybe thinking it would never come up from Portia on the show. But the reason I say this is because Phaedra's in taking the fall and falling on the sword in that instance, what Phaedra did was protected the house, which could also explain why she was still able to maintain a good relationship with the network, because at the end of the day, she may have been protecting the house, which means she could have been protecting, and it has been long thought, as Candace states here, that whatever Phaedra heard back in the day was allegedly from some part of the house, right? So if Phaedra goes down for the house, then now Phaedra is out. We can clear the slate. The person who was she takes the fall initially. Essentially, and I'm giving you what Candace says, and I'm following the breadcrumbs. I am invested. Okay, I'm invested. Some of you may not be, but I want to get to the bottom of exactly why is K Michelle looking so crazy in this episode, right? And and I've also heard, I happened to catch Bondi Blue. For those of you guys who don't follow her, make sure you guys are following her, because she will post clips from her own podcast, and she also stated something similar as to what she thought about what it is that K Michelle was experiencing. There is something that is happening that K Michelle is experiencing, and too many people that I also feel like are noticing this, that are seeing some similar things. So the problem is, though, as in our conversation today with Chris, is that we can't see it, right? And as Candace says, because you can't see it, then you don't know. And so the audience is really kind of left to feel clueless as to what really is going on, because what she's experiencing has either been not stated or has been left out. And therefore, it is easier for the cast to move forward as though there is nothing out untoward that they can see happening, because they also maybe potentially know that we can't see what's happening. I don't know, man. I don't know, y'all. This is just such a mystery to me, because, well, I like to figure things out. And when I get stumped on something, I cannot let it go. Okay? I can't let it go. And this is one of those things. And so you will have to deal with it until I figure it out. Okay? How about that? With that being said, guys, make sure to like this video and subscribe. And I will, of course, catch you in the next one.